Hi everyone, it's Kenny here from the Tolbooth. This is video 2 on song structure. Song structure is something you'll think about throughout the writing of your song. You'll think about it when you're putting your lyrics into verses and choruses, when you choose the chords that you're going to play, and you might even think about it again when it comes to writing a vocal melody. So it's something that you'll want to keep in mind, be flexible with, and be open to changing as you go. So let's take a quick look at all the different kind of parts and building blocks you could use to create your song. Okay, so first up, the intro. There's loads of ways to start a song. One of them is with maybe an instrumental section that sets the mood and style of the song. This can be a kind of special intro section of music, or it can be your chords for your verse or your chorus or something else. The verse. Your song wants to tell a story or a message, and the verse is the part of the song where you'll do the bulk of your storytelling. They're usually a bit longer than choruses and usually contain more lyrics too. The pre-chorus. This section, the name maybe gives it away a bit, it joins up the verse with the chorus. It's not vital, but it can be a pretty useful tool to either build up to a big chorus or kind of create a smooth flow between the verse and the chorus. The chorus. So you know what these guys are all about. They're the memorable section that you'll kind of walk away singing at the end of the song. Often all your choruses will have the same lyrics in them, and they really kind of hit home the main message of the song. The verses then tell the story, and the chorus makes sure that the meaning of the story overall shines through. The middle eight is a section often used to kind of keep things fresh in the song, often put in after a few verses and choruses to avoid too much repetition. Sometimes the middle eight tells the kind of climax of the story. Sometimes it gives a listener a break from the kind of loud and intense nature of the verses and the choruses. Its name comes from usually being near the middle of a song and typically containing 8 bars of music. A solo, another optional one. Sometimes your song's just crying out to burst maybe from a chorus into a big huge guitar solo, or a big flurry of brass instruments, or maybe it just needs a bit of time and space for the piano or the keyboard to just flourish and get let loose. One way of ending your song and bringing it to a big climax can be a double chorus, which is just your chorus played twice. It gives the listener a kind of double hit of that big catchy chorus before they leave and guarantees they'll be singing it when it's finished. Outro. Similar to intro, it might even be the same bit of music as the intro. A piece of music that lets the song kind of end naturally. It might be a bit of an abrupt end to end after the last chorus and just that's it. So a little bit of music just to let the song kind of fade out, and it kind of as a listener lets you reflect on the whole song you just listened to as well. There you go, that's it. They're all the building blocks that you'll need. They're all the building blocks that songwriters have needed for decades to write hit songs, some of the biggest, most famous songs in the world. And some of the most recent and up-to-date songs too. So you've got everything you need to start writing your own tune. But you're doing something creative, and the best rule about doing creative exercises is that there are no rules. So you don't need to stick to those. Listen to songs that you love, get some ideas from those on the different structures they use, and get inspired that way. Some people have written songs that don't really have sections. They start in one place and then they finish somewhere completely different. Some just have maybe 2 sections or 3 or something. So the doors are wide open. You can do what you want. Okay, the next section is one that's slightly kind of maybe more advanced in terms of songwriting. So don't get bogged down in it if this is your first song that you're writing. Just get going with some of those building blocks and see where it takes you. Once you've written a few, then maybe start to think about what I would be referring to as the flow of the song. So by flow, I mean kind of the way that the song moves along, how kind of intense and big sounding and maybe loud or exciting certain sections are, and how that travels from big exciting sections to quieter to bigger to quieter and so on. Often you're going to want to write your verses, for example, to be more mellow and chilled out than your choruses, so that the choruses are kind of big and anthemic. So have a look at this song structure on this graph. The higher up the line, at the side, the more intense and big sounding the song is. And that's all your sections there. It's just an example of a song structure at the bottom. So you can see on this graph that the intro starts a little bit more intense than the verse, maybe a bit of a burst of excitement, and then settles into a quiet verse. Then there's a jump for the chorus, and it repeats that. Comes down a little bit for the middle eight, and then the double chorus is maybe bigger and louder than any chorus before the outro. So that's maybe a bit more of an obvious route. But playing with this kind of intensity can make for some really interesting songs. So take a look at this example. This song kicks off with a really quite intense, high energy intro, continues exactly the same into the verse, doesn't dip, just keeps going, and then drops for a really quiet chorus, kind of catching people off guard. Maybe it's quite mellow, maybe it's sad sounding, and then it bursts back into the verse, and it repeats this. Then, for example, at the end you could do again a double chorus, and maybe this time instead of playing it quiet and sad, you play it kind of up and big as a kind of big finale to the song. And here's another example. In this one, the pre-chorus is used to really create a big contrast between the verse and the chorus. So this song just kicks straight into a verse to begin with, no intro, and then at the end of the verse it dips down dramatically to a really super quiet pre-chorus, and then leaps up to that loud chorus. So you can see already that the verse line and the chorus line are quite far apart. The chorus is a big jump up from the verse as it is, but when you have that really quiet pre-chorus in there, look how big that jump is. So what about our song then? What structure are we going to use? Well, like I say, you'll always keep these ideas in your head as you're writing your song. The most important thing about song structure is that you've got to remain open to change. So you don't get stuck and you start forcing the song in a direction which isn't natural. You'll maybe start out thinking, I'll do verse, chorus, and you realise that the verse chords don't really go into the chorus chords that nicely, so maybe you'll need a little bit of a pre-chorus. You might have your verse and your chorus lyrics there, and then when it comes to putting chords and music to the song, you realise that the tempo and the way that you sing the lyrics, you end up singing loads of lyrics really fast, and actually you need double the amount of lyrics for your verse. So maybe you'll do the first verse as a double verse. There's so many different options. For now, we've got quite strong verse and chorus parts, so maybe as an idea we'll look to do a kind of intro, verse, chorus, middle eight, double chorus, and then out. But who knows? Like I say, we'll keep thinking as we add the chords, and we'll see when we add the melody what changes too. So keep referring back to some of the stuff in this video. Next up is writing chords.